Another deadline for the Brexit trade pact passed on Sunday. Now the next few days are crucial, says EU negotiator Michel Barnier. EU chief negotiator in the Brexit talks with Great Britain Michel Barnier still sees opportunities for an agreement. "We will give everything for this agreement, which is still possible," he said before deliberations on the status of the talks. Two conditions still have to be met. It is about fair competition rules and fishing rights. Barnier did not mention the conflict issue of a legal mechanism for the settlement of disputes that was also mentioned so far. "It is our responsibility to give the talks every chance of success," he says. Never before had such a comprehensive trade, energy, fisheries, transport, police and judicial cooperation agreement been negotiated so transparently in such a short time, he said. From diplomatic circles, it was then said, however, that Barnier had shown himself reluctant to the prospect of an agreement. "The patient is still alive, but the undertaker's abbreviated number should be kept," said an EU diplomat about Barnier's assessment of the status of the talks about a trade agreement between the UK and the EU. Earlier, EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and British Prime Minister Johnson instructed their negotiating delegations to continue the talks. British Economy Secretary Alok Sharma confirmed this on Monday and also reiterated Johnson's statement that Britain would not break off negotiations. A few days earlier, British Foreign Minister Dominic Raab had named a final deadline for a trade agreement with the EU last Sunday, but left a back door open. The negotiations would reach a moment of finality at the weekend, he said on Thursday, before commenting afterwards, "You can never finally say never." The negotiating parties have almost no time left for an agreement. The transition phase ends on December 31st, during which, following the formal exit from the EU, hardly anything has changed in relations between the UK and the EU with regard to freedom of travel and access to the internal market. If the deadline passes without a new contract, there's a risk of tariffs and other trade barriers. The main points of contention in the negotiations that have been going on for months have been fishing rights and rules for fair competition. The EU only wants to grant the British duty-free access to the internal market if they accept the rules that apply there. "Competition must not only be free but also fair," said Barnier. Barnier confirmed that both issues remained unsolved. When it came to the issues of fisheries and state aid, the negotiating team had diverged even further, according to the diplomatic circles in Brussels. Barnier said that the EU is calling for mutual, I emphasize mutual, access to markets and waters. Great Britain wants to prevent EU fishermen from continuing to fish in British waters, while British fisheries are heavily dependent on exports to the EU. In the conversation between Johnson and von der Leyen at the weekend, Johnson had also spoken of major differences on key issues. However, Johnson had already threatened in October to aim for a Brexit without a trade agreement if there was no agreement by then, in order to continue negotiations. While the dispute over fishing rights mainly affects France, the French Finance Minister Bruno Le Maire was calm in the face of an impending hard Brexit without a contract. "The British have the most to lose," Le Maire said on French radio. "The EU exit is political, economic and historical folly." And if you want to stay informed now, please subscribe to my channel, visit my other channels. I'll see you in my next video. Viel Spaß!